Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by reminding you that we are the architects of our lives, and our thoughts are the blueprint. What we think about, we bring about. The mind is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it must be used wisely. Left unchecked, it can work against us. Guided with intention, it becomes the most valuable ally in creating the life we want. Every great accomplishment, innovation, or breakthrough begins with a single, powerful thought. It's easy to overlook the significance of something so intangible, but thoughts are the genesis of everything we see and experience. The chair you sit on, the building you walk into, the technology you use daily, all of it started as an idea in someone's mind. Thoughts are the invisible architects of the visible world, shaping not only what we do, but also who we become. Think about the immense potential stored in your mind at this very moment. Your thoughts influence your decisions, and your decisions direct the course of your life. If you constantly entertain thoughts of doubt, fear, or inadequacy, those thoughts will begin to manifest in your actions or lack of action. You'll find yourself hesitating, procrastinating, and shrinking away from opportunities. On the other hand, when your thoughts are bold, focused, and purposeful, they fuel you to take action, push boundaries, and move closer to your goals. What makes thoughts so powerful is their ability to influence the way we see the world around us. Two people can experience the same event, but interpret it entirely differently based solely on their thinking. For one, a failure might be the end of the road. For another, it's a stepping stone to growth. The circumstances haven't changed, but the perception of those circumstances, driven by thought, makes all the difference. And the truth is, thoughts are not passive. They don't just sit quietly in the back of your mind. They actively shape your emotions, your beliefs, and even your physiology. Research has shown that what we think about can influence our stress levels, our health, and our energy. Negative thoughts can drain us and limit us, while positive, empowering thoughts can uplift us and open doors we didn't even know existed. And here's the fascinating part. Thoughts have a compounding effect. A single thought, repeated and reinforced, can snowball into a deeply held belief. Beliefs then guide our habits, and habits create the results we see in our lives. It's a process that begins quietly, often unnoticed, but over time it determines the trajectory of our lives. That's the sheer power of thought. It doesn't just guide us, it creates the very foundation of our reality. Our mind is like fertile soil, capable of growing anything that we plant in it, but here's the reality. Just as a garden left unattended will be overrun with weeds, so too will our minds if we don't actively protect and nurture them. Negative, unproductive thoughts have a way of creeping in without invitation. They don't ask for permission, they just show up, and if left unchecked, they can take root, grow, and eventually dominate our thinking. Guarding your mind means becoming intentional about what you allow to enter and stay. Think about the many sources of input we encounter daily: conversations, media, social interactions, and even our own self-talk. Every piece of information has the potential to influence our thinking, for better or worse. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, doubts, and fear, it's only a matter of time before those seeds start to grow within you. The same is true for positive and empowering influences. Whatever you consistently expose yourself to will shape your perspective and ultimately your actions. Imagine walking into your home and leaving the front door wide open. Anyone or anything could wander in. You wouldn't dream of doing that, yet many of us leave the door to our minds wide open every day. We let negativity from the news, criticism from others, or even our own inner doubts roam freely in our thoughts. Guarding your mind means closing that door and becoming selective about what you let in. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about filtering out what doesn't serve you and focusing on what does. The thoughts you allow to linger in your mind have a profound impact on your emotions, decisions, and results. Negative thoughts, like weeds, don't just sit idly by. They spread, grow, and eventually choke out the space for positive, productive ideas. A single thought of self-doubt can snowball into hesitation, inaction, or even fear. That's why it's crucial to catch those thoughts early, before they take root. Guarding your mind also requires awareness. It's not enough to occasionally check in on your thoughts. You have to stay vigilant. Just as a gardener would regularly tend to their garden. This means paying attention to the words you speak to yourself, the narratives you believe, and the assumptions you make about what's possible. It means recognizing when a thought is harmful or limiting and choosing to replace it with something more constructive. This entire process is referred to in many different ways, but the critical system, the quality of your life, is directly tied to the quality of your thoughts. By guarding your mind and keeping out the negativity, self-doubt, and distractions that try to infiltrate it, you create the space for clarity, focus, and growth. It's not an easy task, and it requires consistent effort, but the rewards of a disciplined and well-guarded mind are worth every ounce of energy you put into it. And so, to go the extra mile, you have to chew and be consistent. And well-guarded mind are worth every ounce of energy you put into it. The mind is an incredible instrument, but it operates on a simple principle. It can only focus on one thought at a time. You can't hold two opposing thoughts in your mind simultaneously. You can't feel hopeful while thinking about despair. You can't feel courageous while dwelling on fear. This is where the law of substitution comes into play. It's a powerful tool that allows us to intentionally replace negative, limiting thoughts with empowering, constructive ones. The truth. Think about how often we allow negative thoughts to dominate our minds. A moment of self-doubt might lead to thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never succeed. These thoughts, if left unchecked, have the power to spiral, influencing how we feel and what we do or don't do. The law of substitution teaches us that we don't have to fight these thoughts directly. Instead, we can redirect our focus to something more positive, something that uplifts and motivates us. It's not about denying the existence of challenges or difficulties. It's about choosing a mindset that empowers us to face them. Consider this: when you walk into a dark room, you don't fight the darkness. You simply turn on the light. The darkness disappears because the light takes its place. The same is true for our thoughts. If your mind is filled with self-doubt, you don't have to wrestle with those thoughts. You replace them with thoughts of capability and possibility. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, shift your focus to what could go right. Instead of dwelling on past failures, think about the lessons you've learned and how they've made you stronger. The law of substitution isn't just about replacing a single thought. It's about creating a habit of redirection. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to catch yourself in moments of negativity and make a conscious choice to think differently. It's a process of training your mind to focus on what serves you rather than what limits you. And like any skill, it takes time and repetition to master. Okay? Now try to make that comparison with you. One of the most effective ways to apply the law of substitution is through intentional language. The words you use to talk to yourself have immense power. When you catch yourself saying, "I can't do this," reframe it to, "How can I do this?" When you feel overwhelmed and think, "This is too much," substitute it with, "I'll take it one step at a time." These small shifts in language create a ripple effect, gradually changing how you think, feel, and act. It's also important to surround yourself with positive influences that reinforce this principle. The people you interact with, the books you read, the media you consume, all of these play a role in shaping your thoughts. By filling your environment with positivity and inspiration, you make it easier to practice the law of substitution. You create a mental atmosphere where empowering thoughts naturally take precedence over limiting ones. The power of substitution lies in its simplicity and accessibility. No matter where you are in life, no matter what challenges you're facing, you have the ability to choose your thoughts. You can decide, moment by moment, to replace fear with faith, doubt with determination, and negativity with possibility. It's a practice that empowers you to take control of your mind and ultimately your life. Discipline is the backbone of taking control of our thoughts. It's the daily, consistent effort to be mindful of what we allow to linger in our minds and the deliberate practice of redirecting our focus when it strays toward negativity or doubt. Without discipline, even the best intentions fall apart and our minds become a playground for random, unproductive, or harmful thoughts. Discipline is what turns the occasional act of positive thinking into a life-changing habit. Think about it. Our minds are constantly processing information, reacting to situations, and forming narratives. Without discipline, this process happens on autopilot. We absorb every piece of negativity from the world around us, replay past mistakes, and let our fears and insecurities take center stage. It's not because we choose to think this way. It's simply the path of least resistance. Discipline is what allows us to break free from this cycle and take an active role in shaping our mental landscape. Discipline doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring negative thoughts. It means becoming aware of them and choosing how to respond. It means catching yourself when you start to spiral into self-doubt or worry and redirecting your thoughts to something constructive. It's not always easy, especially in moments of stress or uncertainty, but discipline gives you the strength to pause, reflect, and refocus. One of the challenges of practicing discipline in our thoughts is that it requires consistency. It's not enough to replace a negative thought with a positive one once or twice. You have to do it repeatedly, day after day, until it becomes second nature. This is where many people struggle. They expect quick results or feel discouraged when old thought patterns resurface. But discipline is a long game. It's about committing to the process even when progress feels slow or invisible. Over time, these small daily efforts add up, leading to profound changes in how you think and feel. Discipline also involves setting boundaries for your mind. Just as you wouldn't let anyone or anything disrupt your physical space, you must protect your mental space with the same level of care. This means being intentional about the conversations you engage in, the media you consume, and the environments you immerse yourself in. It's about recognizing the influences that shape your thoughts and choosing those that align with your goals and values. Another critical aspect of discipline is self-swornessness. You can't control your thoughts if you're not aware of them. Discipline involves taking the time to observe your thinking patterns, identify triggers that lead to negativity, and develop strategies to address them. It's about becoming an active participant in your thought processes rather than a passive observer. Another critical aspect of discipline is self-serviceness. You can't control your thoughts if you're not aware of them. Discipline involves taking the time to observe your thinking patterns, identify triggers that lead to negativity, and develop strategies to address them. It's about becoming an active participant in your thought processes rather than a passive observer. Ultimately, discipline is what bridges the gap between intention and action. Many of us have good intentions. We want to think positively, stay focused, and overcome challenges. But without discipline, those intentions remain just that, intentions. Discipline transforms them into habits, and habits over time create lasting change. It's not about being perfect or never having a negative thought. It's about building the mental resilience to guide your thoughts in a direction that serves you. Your thoughts are the starting point for everything you create in your life. They are not just fleeting ideas or abstract notions. They are the blueprint for the life you build. Everything you do, everything you achieve, and everything you become originates from a thought. That's the power of the mind. It sets the stage for your actions and lays the foundation for your future. Imagine an architect beginning a new project. Before a single brick is laid, the building exists in the form of a blueprint, carefully drawn, planned, and adjusted to ensure the end result aligns with the vision. The same is true of your life. Your thoughts serve as that blueprint, shaping the framework for your goals, relationships, and achievements. If your thoughts are disorganized, negative, or rooted in fear, the blueprint becomes flawed, and the life you build from it reflects that instability. On the other hand, if your thoughts are purposeful, positive, and aligned with your aspirations, the blueprint becomes strong, and the life you create is one of intention and fulfillment. The challenge is that many of us go through life unaware of this process. We think thoughts are just random occurrences, passing through our minds without much significance. But the truth is, thoughts don't simply come and go. They leave impressions. They influence our emotions, guide our decisions, and shape the way we perceive the world around us. A single negative thought, if repeated and reinforced, can lead to limiting beliefs that hold us back for years. Conversely, a single empowering thought, nurtured and acted upon, can lead to breakthroughs we never imagined possible. What makes this concept so powerful is that it gives you control. You don't have to be a passive recipient of whatever thoughts happen to cross your mind. You have the ability to consciously design your blueprint by choosing the thoughts you entertain and cultivate. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about focusing your mental energy on possibilities instead of problems. Think of your mind as a workshop where every thought is a tool. If you focus on thoughts of fear, doubt, or failure, you'll use tools that create obstacles and limitations. But if you focus on thoughts of courage, confidence, and possibility, you'll use tools that build strength, progress, and achievement. Choice is yours. And it's a choice you make every day, whether consciously or unconsciously. This process requires both intention and consistency. It's not enough to think positively once in a while or when it's convenient. To truly design a life that reflects your highest potential, you must make a habit of monitoring your thoughts and aligning them with your goals. This means taking the time to reflect on what you want to create, why it matters, and how your current thinking supports or hinders that vision. It's about being honest with yourself, identifying areas where your thoughts might be working against you, and making the conscious effort to redirect them. The beauty of this principle is that it's entirely within your control. No one else can dictate your thoughts unless you allow them to. External circumstances may influence you, but they don't determine your internal reality. You have the power to choose how you respond, what you focus on, and what meaning you assign to the events in your life. This is why thoughts are so much more than passing notions. They are the foundation of your future, the starting point for everything you do, and the most powerful tool you have to shape your destiny.